Reddit is a great place to see creepy and downright chilling photos. These are some of the creepiest photos shared on Reddit. User Z870 posts, "There's an abandoned house across the street from my neighborhood. My friend and I decided to go in one day and explore because of how absolutely creepy it looks. It was only a few rooms and really moldy, so we decided to leave after about 10 minutes. After we left, we took a couple pictures of the outside and down the well that was sitting behind a tree. It was really eerie and overgrown and just seemed like a house that was forgotten. My friend freaked out a week later and sent me this image. This was after we left the house. I don't know what it was, a squatter or a ghost, but we sure as hell didn't go back." Reddit user RiverRose96 posts, "This was taken back in 2013 when I was a junior in high school. My little brother was using my iPad to take pictures. When I went to delete them the next day, I noticed this in the background. If you look closely, you can see the shape of a head and the beginning of a torso, as well as the left arm. The right arm almost appears as if it's bent towards the face, and you can make out what looks to be a hand as well. No explanation for this. No one else was in this part of the house, and there was nothing but empty space behind the spot it appeared." The Reddit user thefatsnail posts, "One morning I was eating my breakfast and looked up to see two little footprints on the side of my window. This was a 2-story building on a naval base where children are not allowed. I have no idea how there would be a child here, let alone on the outside of my window on a 2-story building. I still don't understand it. To make things weirder, the TV that sits next to that window always turned on to static at night and wake me and others up. Never saw it happen during the day." Reddit user Smeman posts, "Looks like a ghost in the top window. I took this picture in 2004 in South Carolina." The Reddit user SantisimaMuerte posted, "I took this picture in Waukesha, Wisconsin back in January of 2013 on the day of my dad's funeral. On our way to the church, we drove down the street full of Victorian houses, and I was snapping a few shots of them. I was looking at the pictures later on that night and noticed something weird about this one. At first glance, it's just a pretty house, but look closer in the bushes by the window. You can see what looks like glowing red eyes." The Reddit user Harionago posts, "A few years back, I was on my own walking around my house using my phone. For whatever reason, I accidentally used burst camera, where it takes like 10 photos at once, while I was walking across the hallway. In a couple of the photos, you could see a weird dark figure stood at the other end. I had no idea, not until I saw them in my gallery a few days later." The Reddit user lalosauce posted, "I was walking around the University of the Texas campus my freshman year there, and snapping random pictures with my new camera. I looked at this pic and ran away scared. There was no one around me except me and my friend. This photo has given me chills ever since." This Reddit user posted, "Heard of the Hesdalls phenomenon? Here's a wiki article. I recorded this in 2007. It's a natural phenomenon occurring in Hesdal, Norway. Every now and then, these light orbs will float around through the valley before disappearing. Scientists have been trying to figure this one out for many decades, but still do not have a clear answer as to what it is. My middle school was picked to assist some college students and their professor in the research on this thing in order to promote science or something. And I was one of the students who volunteered. I got the role of cameraman and ended up recording this footage. It's been in documentaries that have been shown on Scandinavian television, as well as in the UK and North America.
Åh fy fader! Jag filmar det, jag har det på tejp!
The Reddit user Chebs33 took this picture in room 502 of Waverly Hills Sanatorium while on a tour of the facility during the evening. The picture was completely black due to the lack of light, but this showed up when he cranked up the brightness and contrast. He took hundreds of pictures that night, but this was the only one with anything of note. The Reddit user August279 posted, I converted an old Android phone into an IP security cam that starts recording and sends me an email on motion. I set it up before going out of town. One night, I got a motion detected email at 3 a.m. In the morning, I went through the video. The recording somehow got jammed and it shows a single frame of a weird silhouette standing in front of the door, with the door open. I left it closed, and it was closed when I got back home. The Reddit user lazlounderhill posted, this is an image caught in my former apartment in the upper floors of the Centennial house on a cheap digital camera using timer shot on my PC. While I was at work in 2006, I was living alone at the time. Second floor apartment, and this is not my landlord. Nothing stolen, nothing disturbed. All doors and windows locked and intact. The thing that really creeps me out about this picture, aside from the image, is that it's the only one of a time lapse. From yes, a very shitty camera. It was set to take a photo once every minute. If I remember correctly, the camera that was somewhat hidden, it didn't have a shutter sound. And yet the figure appears to be looking directly at the computer desk where the camera was hidden, the very moment it was taken. The Reddit user Alvox posts, this was taken at my church around 2008. The figure was invisible to the naked eye until I took a look back at my pictures. Reddit user rubberdaisy posts, my friend lives on Portland, a small island off the southern coast of England, and there's a creepy area called the Grove where loads of weird things have supposedly happened. She was there one night with friends just messing around and took this picture. She has no idea what it could be. There were no trees that high up, nothing around for a while apart from an old quarry. What freaks us out is that you can see an outline of a person matching the eyes. The Reddit user Gdorf2 posted, check out this picture that was taken with my grandparents. The head in between my two grandparents was not there when the picture was taken. It's a very creepy face. The Reddit user PMyourFEMININEbenis posts, I work for a company that provides patrol services in Portland, Oregon. Since I've recently left that company, I've decided to share some stories from my time working there. In between responding to calls for service, we would provide lockup services for clients. That means we would show up and lock the offices, gates, pools, or whatever they wanted locked. On this particular night, I had been on the job for only a few months. I was in a very affluent area, performing a property patrol of one of the many apartment complexes there. Well, this specific apartment has a pool house that they liked us to lock up after 1 a.m. It was about 12:45, so I decided to lock it up early since I was leaving the area after this patrol. I go inside and sweep the pool house. It looks like it does every day, nothing particularly out of the ordinary. I had always gotten creepy vibes inside that pool house. Though, I never felt as if I was alone, and I'd always encounter cold spots. My supervisor reported having the same issue on several occasions. Anyhow, everything looks business as usual. There is no water outside of the tub, no spare towels left lying around. The chair and tables are all in order. I go check the side door and find it secured. I go back to secure the main door, and as I'm doing so, I hear the water move. I then hear 2 quick footsteps, like wet socks squish when you walk in them, and felt something tap my shoulder. I jumped and turned around, with the crap scared out of me because I thought I was alone, and there was nobody there. All I saw were 2 fresh prints of bare feet on the concrete floor. Throughout the following months, I told my story to residents and showed them the pictures. I had a few that reported similar instances of things happening to them. One resident said that on one occasion he was drying off after getting out of the hot tub on a late night. He was alone in the pool house when suddenly there was a huge splash in the pool, as if somebody had just jumped in the pool, but he was alone and had no idea what caused it. I never personally had any issues after that, besides the feeling of being watched and cold spots in the pool house. Definitely one of the spookiest things to ever happen to me. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to check me out on Twitter